Greetings wherever you are in the world. My name is Dr. Kaya Shivers, and welcome to Ark Republic News. We have a very special report and interview today, and that is with Nicole and Courtney Mallery. If you have been following Ark Republic, you know that we broke the story in January of 2023 of a Black-owned ranch by a couple who experienced high extremes of what we considered or called domestic terrorism. When the Mallerys contacted Ark Republic, they were almost at their wits' end. They had attempted to contact everybody from news agencies to elected officials to law enforcement to talk about these high levels of intimidation, threats, and so on and so forth. You can read more about it in the series. It is in the link below. We are here in this very special, epic interview to talk about what happened and how they are moving forward. Thank you for joining me, Nicole and Courtney. How are you doing?
We're hanging in there.
We're hanging in there.
Let's embark on the Ark Republic to hear current news that's published. More than gossip and chatter, covering current affairs that matter. We talk issues with professional views, all keeping you in queue. We wanted a higher vibe for these days and times, to free the voices and minds, reporting the sign of the times, so all can build. Let's shine, yeah.
I do not know how to start this, but as I said before I pressed record, this is historic. My name is Kaya Shivers. Welcome to Ark Republic. And we are finally able to speak with, again, Nicole and Courtney Mallery, who we ran a story about a little over a year ago, about what they were experiencing on their Colorado ranch. Now, I don't know about you all, but that story set off the agricultural community, and in particular, the Black agricultural community, but set it off in terms of talking about Black farmers and safety. But we can go more into detail about that. I first want to ask, well, thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
How are you all doing? Is that a loaded question?
I think, like we discussed, and this is not something that's going to change overnight. It's been happening for hundreds of years. And so we're glad that it's being highlighted, that it's being taken seriously, and that the community has come out full force, and advocates like yourself have come out full force to really let the people that are spewing hate know that we are not alone, whether or not physically they may not see more people, that it is a movement. It's not something that's going to change overnight, though, but we take it day by day. Some days are better than others. Other days, it's like last night, someone stole a bull. And so that set off a whole bunch of other, a lot of other things in terms of things we need to do in order to make sure all of the animals are protected at all times. And so we're dealing with that this morning from last night. And as per usual, we are still waiting. It's going on 24 hours and we have not gotten any real response from the sheriff's office. Not that we expected it, but, everybody should be concerned when people are attacking and stealing animals.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like pretty much like she said, each day presents a different feeling. Just yesterday, we had the bull stolen. So, and we went out, was riding around on public roads, and the cops were called on us for riding around looking for the bull. But they didn't come out to take a statement from us when we called them and told them my bull was stolen. But they came out, when the white lady called and said that we were riding around flashing our light, looking for our animal. I like to say thank you, for highlighting the situation. This is like my wife said, it's this it's way bigger than us. I'm glad it shined the spotlight on all Black farmers and what we're going through out here and the disparities and stuff that we face like that. But yeah.
There's so many questions I have, and I know for us at Ark Republic, it's a small news organization. So when we put out first, actually, I went to our sister organization, Black Farmers Index, which I also, in full disclosure, and founded and the president, but I had to go to the board and say, there's an issue. Can we please co-advocate? And so when we actually put it out on Black Farmers Index first, and then I ran the stories, and we were hit with a lot. It was totally unexpected. I would say within 2 or 3 hours, your story on Black Farmers Index social media page was passed about 5,000 times, which we had never ever seen. So the response was so strong. And our initial response from the public was, how can we help? We're tired of this. But as you know, then came the maelstrom of the hate, social media, which it didn't catch us off guard, but there was so much we couldn't even control it. Right. So I want to say too, publicly, because I know the concern was the information that was spreading. We just didn't have the physical capacity to manage everything because we were hit with thousands of stuff every day. And when there's 2 and 3 people working, we just could not. With that being said, and I'm a media person, so I know about viral stuff. What was it like as just being regular citizens that are trying to get something out? Can you please describe some of the things that you experienced or felt when this story became public? Because people need to know, like, it's a headshot to be a person who's just a citizen living life, to then you be put out there and you have all these people texting you, all these people calling you, all these people showing up, in and around your property. So could you give us a glimpse of what that looked like?
Of course.
It was a bit overwhelming. We had to, our trust, we had to rely on each other more, while the people that came out and that was helping and stuff like that, we've never met a lot of these people before in our life, so it was just new, letting people into our home, into our lives, but it all worked out. But it was always like a feeling of nervousness, just it was it was weird at sometimes, but it was also like comforting at the same time to have all those people there with us, not being alone, moving about the town, not being alone. That really helped out a lot.
Yeah, I think I would agree. It was different. For so long we had been fighting alone, and then you came, and then everyone else came, and it was like being hit by an avalanche, but it was a beautiful thing as well. So it was, a gift and a curse to some degree, because it was a beautiful thing that so many people showed up. I meant willing, ready, and able to get on the front lines with us to make sure that another Black farmer did not lose their land behind hate. And so in that aspect, it was just amazing, because this was driven by community advocates like yourself and the people. This was something where each and every person, whether or not they were here physically, if they weren't here physically, they prayed, they made phone calls, they made emails, they sent us encouragement. So it was a constant barrage. But just like you, we were we weren't ready for that, like that. But I think it was something that was desperately needed, because I think, unfortunately, bullies, they attack when they think you're weak. And I think for a long time, because it was kind of just us and our family members, and they would just, we wouldn't say much. They just looked at it as being weak. They could take us and take what we had fought for and what we worked for. And then when other Black people showed up, military, gun clubs, just everyday citizens, like, not on my watch, it changed immediately. And so in that aspect, it was just a beautiful thing to know that the community, the Black community, they had our back, and it was not going to happen on their watch. And so, like I said, it took a lot of getting used to. We're still getting used to it, but I think it's important, because we even in the midst of that, we were getting calls from other farmers who were experiencing these issues. And so I think it gave everybody a way of how to navigate issues that they have. Seeing your organization, seeing the gun club, they knew that they had now a Rolodex of people that they saw that were ready, willing, and able to fight for Black farmers to connect with. And so in that aspect, all the pain that we experience, I think the purpose is so much bigger than just what we're dealing with, because everybody now knows how and who to come to. Like, this was a modern day kind of collaboration of people that was done with your organization through hitting a button on social media. And we never had been on social media before. So, I mean, it was something that people shared and continued to share. And they said, not today and not tomorrow. And so that is important for all Black farmers that are fighting to keep their land.
Mm. Thank you. I have so many questions, because in the notes I have to, and I know today you might not be able to answer them for a lot of reasons. I still get I just got a question maybe 2 days ago, and I told somebody I cannot answer it because of the journey has been rough on my end. But you talking, I feel vindicated as a journalist, and I'm explaining why. I received so many calls from Colorado journalists doubting that your story was real. And so I recall there was a Black journalist who called. That was one of the first people that I contacted, and they didn't believe you or your story, and told me that because they couldn't properly contact you, that they weren't going to follow up, and just hung up. What is it like to try to get your story out? And let me say this, before I ask this question, I was speaking to the person, and I said, I get a lot of, I'm a small organization, but there's such a lack of news media that will listen to people, anybody, but in particular, folk of color and Black folk, when they're like being harassed. I get emails all the time, but there was something about your email that just sat with me. And I contacted you. And then when we did the interview, I just couldn't sleep, right? It was one of those, I just couldn't sleep, and I just knew I had to do something about it. But I told the person, if the community had not rallied around you all, then it was only a matter of time, then somebody would have been in jail or dead. That's how serious it was. And so I would be explaining this to these news folk, saying, yeah, okay. Well, there's inconsistencies. Yeah. The consistency, though, is racism. That is the consistency. Right. The consistency is that these are things that you cannot deny. So what was it like to, one, try and get notice and tell people about it, and nobody is listening, or at the very least, people are not stepping in? And then I want to know what has happened since then, in terms of, has there been anything put in place since then? So What was that like for you all?
It was frustrating. It was frustrating. You know, me and my wife, we always discuss like why as Black people that we got to jump through hoops, jump through hurdles. You know what I'm saying? When something is being done to us or when we're being wrong, why do we have to go above and beyond to prove what is happening? That seems to it seems like that's their running theme out here. It's like, okay, well, do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this? And it's like, man, know what I'm saying? I just like for last night they stole a bull or whatever, and we were riding around looking for the bull. You know, we called maybe like 5 p.m. We were still waiting on a call. Some lady, a white lady, called and said we were harassing her or whatever. We were on a public road, didn't know anything about it. We were looking for our bull. But anyway, 3 cop cars show up for that, and then they just rode right past us. We were blowing the horn like, hey, we thought they were coming to see about our situation, but that wasn't the case.
Here's the thing. It's not surprising, I'll say that, because unfortunately, I think that I've never lived in a town like this before, but unfortunately, I think it's easier for white people, the sheriff, these people, to pretend these things don't exist, right? We're the only Black people here that are farming right here in this town. And so the reality of the situation is, it's simpler to say, well, those 2 people don't know what they're talking about. If you have, I guess, 100 or 200 white people who are saying, there's no racism that exists, right? You don't know anyone Black. And so when you talk about hanging and lynching people and it's written, those are things that are indisputable when people are talking about pitchforks and burning and fire. But to pretend that those things don't exist and just to constantly gaslight us is something I want to be honest with, I didn't expect. I thought that the sheriff at a minimum would try to approach the issue in some way. But just to constantly ignore us, and then when people like you say, no, I'm not going to ignore this, to then try to attack you, it's just a constant thing where this is their MO. And so it's a constant thing where this is their MO. We used everything they had in place for protection, the address confidentiality program. They refused to even abide by that. The sheriff writes us a letter and says, sorry for still putting out your address. But the damage is done, right? We use restraining orders. They refuse to enforce them. And so we put in place everything that we had at our disposal so that they could understand, like, we weren't going to just waste time and spend money to get these things in place for no reason, and so we're not being granted, at this point, we have 4 restraining orders in place by judges. So they have none. So that means that something is happening. There's still letters going out. They still are trying to get us removed from the property. We are still apparently not farmers, not Marines. We don't own the land. But here's the thing. What difference does it make if we do own the land? But even if we didn't, that doesn't mean we're your nigger or you can threaten to hang us or lynch us or burn us. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Even if we were squatters, right? That's your thing, to try to just say, oh, well, they're not credible. They're not this and they're not that. But the reality is what you're doing is you're ignoring what's happening. And so that is easier for you to do than to really face what's happening in terms of really getting to the crux of the issue. You got police officers here with civilians, conducting investigations on, we were victims at the time. And so a lot of things just didn't make sense as to, well, it does make sense. We were Black, but the sheriff could have done something to, like, he could have made a choice. His choice was to attack 2 victims who they sent us a letter to come and testify against this person because they were arrested. Their remedy, because a white woman was actually arrested for doing something and breaking the law, was to make up things against us to put us in jail to save a white woman. But that's essentially what they did.
That's the whole thing. So,
Because as the facts played out, the DA essentially said the witnesses are not credible and there is no evidence. It speaks volumes as to what happened and what did not happen. And so at the end of the day, it's dangerous for someone to have that type of power and to be able to try to ruin people's lives. But everything that they meant for evil, the universe turning around and is making it for good. You know, we've had so many people interested in purchasing land and becoming farmers here on the land, you know, trying to be self-sustainable. And Black people are buying land and they are going to be farming, and we're going to be a healthier community. So at the end of the day, while it was hard, it has been hard, it still is hard, it's nothing compared to what's going to come behind it. At the end of the day, they know that the next people that come through Yoder, Black people, they won't be able to do them like that. And that's what's important to us, making it better than where we found it at the end of the day.
So thank you so much. There are a couple of questions I want to ask before we do get into what has happened since the major part of the ordeal, because as you had said in the beginning, it still is ongoing. So a lot of the claims, and you answered one of them, but that you were squatters. Are you squatters?
No.
Do you own there was a press conference conducted by the police. You informed me that you owned 1,000 acres. They said that you own, I think it was like 700 and something acres or something like that. Do you own 1,000 acres?
We actually own a little bit over 1,000 acres. We have 2 parcels. There's one in Rush and one here. Some things were done for security purposes. You're not going to find us when you look up our address due to safety. Under the address confidentiality program, our address is hidden, just like the sheriff's office, like people that work there, their address, judges. It's not going to be something you could easily look up. It was done because a judge granted it due to the safety issues that were going on.
There have been accusations as well that you have abandoned your land. Are you still working on the land?
Yeah, we're going to take you on a tour after this. So
Okay.
everyone can see exactly what we're doing every day.
Okay. All right.
Look how dirty we are. Yes.
Yes.
We just had a calf born yesterday. You know, we had a crew out here and they were playing with goats and doing goat yoga. So again, it's just the hate and it's the constant spew of, okay, that didn't work. Let's try this. Oh, she's not a Marine. Let's try this. Oh yeah, she is a Marine. Okay, he's not a farmer. Let's try this. It's just this constant thing of, okay, well, what can we do? What can we get to stick? Well, the truth is going to stick. We're here. We heard we went to Africa and abandoned the ranch. While Africa would be beautiful, unfortunately, we are still here and we are still farming and feeding families.
All right. We're definitely going to get to that. There was a GoFundMe campaign that was started. The last time I checked, it was like a little over $230,000. And then there were other folk that did rally around you. What did the money go towards?
Security. Yeah.
Yeah, security.
And what type of security did you have to get after this?
We had to get high-tech cameras.
Yeah, the deals that you see in the store parking lots, the big towers, the solar panels on them with the cameras on them. We had like 4 of those out here in every corner. Fencing, lawyers, man.
Yeah, more cameras, more lights.
Yeah.
We had to definitely invest in a whole lot of lighting of the ranch because that's something else that was happening I guess because the land was abandoned and it was like, they would use it, people were coming from the back. So where those areas were like dark areas. So when we had like the military out here and different gun clubs, we did an assessment, and we can't discuss all of the security, but we did different assessments and we had to do that. We got some robotic type things that can be out there in rain, sleet, or snow to kind of alert us of activity, people, if someone tries to put a dog or different things like that. So we physically don't have to be out there. So unfortunately, that's what we had to do in order to try to stay safe, essentially.
Mhm.
It's just, it's not like a, like a 4,000 square foot house. I don't know how many square foot it is, but, to kind of guard acres, it's just a lot when you have people that are constantly surveilling you, like watching every move.
Trying to get your movements down pat, placing things on your vehicle. Yeah.
They were trying to place trackers on your vehicle, or trackers were placed
Yeah.
on your vehicle?
Trackers were placed on the vehicle, plates stolen off of vehicles. When we would go out, we'd come out, our plates would be gone.
We were followed to a safe house.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even understand how people have that kind of time, but that's the part that's scary, right? For somebody that doesn't have anything to lose and thinks they're going to be protected by the police. Like, why would you be following us?
Hmm.
I don't know. And like, to this day, it's still happening. Apparently now, we're not supposed to be. So it went from this same individual, and we have a restraining order against this person. So she constantly, 60, 65-year-old woman, this is what she does with getting a crew. There's probably about 100 or 150 of them. And that's what they do all day. I can't believe someone would just worry about us all day, and they're not, that's not productive, but apparently they want us gone still.
So I'm assuming that is your neighbor. Is it still your neighbor?
Well, that house was sold of
Okay.
Clark. I didn't even really want to mention her name, but yeah, her home was sold. We actually have a restraining order permanent for the rest of our lives against her. But once she left, it was just like all of these other people who we don't even know picked up, and it's been a constant barrage of just hate constantly. I don't know if it's to constantly just break us so we leave. I don't, like, that's the part that I don't understand. What's the mission? What's the mission at the end of the day?
Right. So to give the audience kind of an understanding, I received an email. It was a very disturbing email. And the email, according to this person, now it wasn't verified, but it speaks to exactly what you're saying, that there is a collective of people in this area that have a certain idea of what this part of Colorado, or what Colorado should be, which is an all-white space, and have created a series of intimidation and targeting attacks to Black folk, and have kind of like this continuum of, people are responsible for doing certain things, and they just are just like trying to be like drops of water on a stone, like bit by bit by bit. And in this email, this person said, while I do hold these sentiments that there should be white only spaces, some of the plans began to be too nefarious. So what you're saying is very similar to what I saw in this email. I don't think for me, I did not know Colorado was a hotbed for the KKK, and for white supremacist organizations. So, and as well, we got quite a few emails from people. Now online, you could be whatever it is, but people who said that they live in Colorado or lived in Colorado. These people said that they were white, and they all identified this specific area as being very problematic when it came to race, and had passed through or know people from there, and said that, some of the people they encountered, were in fact everything that it is that you said, and more. So I want to validate that. It's just that I, as an organization, because we're so small, and when I tell you we got mollywopped with stuff, we just could not get out there and do the work that we wanted to do. So I want to verify. And I think what makes this interview different is that because I'm not like a CNN, I want to have like this disclosure going on, this conversation about what it looks like on my side. But I'm glad you are all still standing. I want to ask also a couple of key points in terms of what's going on. So in your case, both of you actually were charges were filed against you, but those charges were dismissed. Can you just very briefly talk about not in detail the charges, but what were the charges? You already said that the judge dismissed the case, but the charges, from what we understand, are stemming from this particular neighbor who filed some allegations against you. Correct?
Right.
All right.
After she was arrested.
Yeah, after she
Right.
was arrested, right? And so the charges have been dismissed from that. How long did you deal with these legal cases?
That's about maybe 6 or 7 months or so. And I, unfortunately, for whatever reason, it doesn't feel like even getting that closure wasn't really closure. You know what I mean? It was just something that was done, I think, to kind of shut some things down. I would have probably appreciated more an apology. And for them to acknowledge what they've done. But I think the DA did us justice in really saying that there was no evidence and that the witnesses were not credible. I mean, and that would be the police as well. And so I've never seen a situation where someone was arrested and you're a victim, and then the very next week you got this deputy out here with his wife or whatever, and trying to figure out how to charge us. I mean, like, first they were trying to charge us, now hindsight that we can see everything. First they were trying to charge us with harassment. We weren't even in the state. Then it was like blocking a road. Well, you heard the sheriff say, among other things, that we own the road, but we weren't even here. And so then it came with this. And so a lot of things don't make sense. Like, if you have this felony, right, all these felonies, why were you trying to charge us with petty misdemeanors from the beginning? So, in terms of their approach on certain things, it's obvious that they were doing exactly what this community is doing. And they're taking the lead of what our law enforcement has treated us. Just trying to find something, grasping at straws to get something. And so, again, like I say, what they meant for evil to break us, we may have bent and stuff, but we didn't break. And the beauty of it is that the community rallied behind us. We're feeding more families now than ever. We have more visitors now than ever. And we know who to call, among other things, if this happens. And so, like I said, it hurt tremendously. It was very traumatic, but the reality of the situation is they were wrong. They were wrong. And it just was the wrong two Black folks.
Thank you for tuning into Ark Republic's news podcast. We are a small media organization with big news energy and cover topics from a global lens and work to uncover rich and robust stories. Any contribution towards our operation will fuel a much needed media revolution. So how can you do that? You can send money to our fundraising platform, which is ark-republic.fundjournalism.org/donate, or Cash App us at $Ark Republic Media. I hope you enjoy the rest of the program and stay tuned for Ark Republic News. You are now selling your food and you say that you are giving away your food. So what does Freedom Acres Ranch look like now? What are you doing in terms of your operations? And super congratulations on that. That is huge. People don't know what it is like to raise process and sell meat. That is, because I work with farmers. I have visited over 35 farms in the last 7 months. So I know to pasture, slaughter, process, package, sell, that's a lot. So please give me the details. Now you in my happy place. This is my happy place, talking about farming.
It's great. You know, Freedom Acres, I'm happy to know that now we can reach more people, help more people, you know, bring awareness to other farmers, you know, help out other farmers, shed some light, help beginning farmers, just show people there another way, you know what I mean, and that they're not alone. Yeah, like you say, from pasture to table is it's a labor of love. It's a labor of love. I enjoy every minute of it. What about you, babe?
It's always pushing on me.
I'm a man of few words.
It's amazing. So from pasture to plate is a beautiful thing. And that the education is the part that I love the most. We've partnered with the local Black chef, and she's been doing like showing meals, how you can make a quick meal. Because I think sometimes we got to unlearn things to relearn things. And our goal and our mission and our motto after coming out of this is farmers save lives, right? We were before farm and peace, but we are farmers save lives, and everything that we do, that is at the center of it. We wrote a children's book because we had so many kids that visited here. And I think the running theme was they had never seen a Black farmer. Some of their parents hadn't either. And so we wrote a children's book so that they can see Black farmers, Black children visiting a ranch and on a farm and doing things. We're giving out food. We're partnering with local organizations, doing food drives. We feed the houseless. Everything we do now is centered with saving lives because they were trying to take ours from us. And so we now are concerned with making sure that there's healthy food on Black people's tables, that Black people know how to connect with a farmer to get food directly from a farm to your table, that they know how to call us and get eggs. They know how to call us if they just need eggs and they, things are tight. And so those are the things that keep us going. There was a single mother that called us late night, about 10, and we had no idea that she was struggling in that way. A lot of people here, they work, but they don't earn a living wage, and food is getting more expensive. And so she called us. It was late in the evening, and she said, I really support you guys, and we're here for you, but I need help. I'm down to my last $25, and I was going to go in the dollar store and get some food. Are you guys able to help me? We got up and we were able to deliver her, about 50, 60 pounds of meat, eggs, fresh food, all of it fresh that she could cook. And making that connection, knowing that someone, even in the midst of that, and even what we're dealing with, still can call us and we can do something to help.
Yeah, everybody needs a hand at some point in time. Like, the world gave us a hand, so what would we look like not reciprocating that back? That's what we love to do, and that's that I believe that was a big part of why they don't like us, because we just like to help. We like to get out there. Like, we shouldn't be facing food insecurity here in America. And I'm not the only farmer. There's bigger farmers out there with there's a lot of beef here in the world.
But see, here's the thing, we answer the call. When they call us, we pick up. And so that's the difference when a small farmer that looks like you, and we understand what the plight of a single mother is. You know, we know what the plight of someone living from check to check potentially is. And so when we get that call, we don't think twice about doing whatever we can do to help. And the beauty of it is she came back, her and her children, and helped us plant, you know, vegetables. And we were able to send, you know, the kids home with the little plant boxes so they could nurture that. And that was what kind of really prompted us to do that children's book. We were like, they are so interested in farming when they get to the ranch. They are immersed in it. Like they've never seen, you know, coming in from the city, they've never seen anything like this, much less Black people running it. And so everything that we do has come out of the pain and the struggle and all of the things that we do and giving back. And we want to continue. We want to continue on that journey to do that. And that's what brings joy.
So let me run this back. So the educational, so you offer several services. How do people contact you in order to, are you in partnership with schools for children to come, or are these people contacting you privately or one-on-one?
Us privately, but I don't want to speak on it right now, but we are speaking to some elected officials now about trying to have a day with the farmer and things like that. And so we're working on it.
Okay. All right. All right. That's all I want to hear. Cause sometimes you want to have it done because you know how it is. The haters will come. So that's good. And so let's talk about the food pantries. Kazan Food Share is one of the agencies that has been fierce advocates of you, and said that, you know, you helped them during the pandemic. And I'm trying to pull up my article, but the other sister in Denver, Pam, yes. What's her organization again?
Montbello Walks.
Yes, Montbello Walks also. So these were two organizations that hands down said that you were very active in working with them. Are you still working with them? And are there other organizations you're working with?
We just saw Ty last week, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
We dropped her off some beef and some eggs, and we'll see her next week also, her and Miss Pam. So yeah, we're still working with them. We're doing a lot of work with the military organizations now. So like VFW, the Marine Corps League, other organizations like that, military organizations we've been working with, because there are so many veterans who are houseless or on the verge of homelessness. And so that's been one of our biggest things to come out of this. And like I said, like every time we partner with the organization, it's like we become a bit stronger, because at the end of the day, it's not just CW and Nicole, it's CW and Nicole, VFW, Marine Corps League. So, you know, again, like I say, it's been so much purpose behind all of the pain that we had to endure. And I probably wouldn't change it, some things, but no, it happened the way it was supposed to happen. But so much beautiful things, so much beauty has come out of it. What other organizations would you say? Oh yeah, Brother Jeff. We were able to actually, Brother Jeff did a Thanksgiving drive. We were actually to get all of the compost for the pigs and stuff, so they didn't throw that away. So we've been working on that, like all of the potato peelings and things like that. When you make a lot of Thanksgiving meals, we were able to, you know, reuse that. So yeah, I would say that would be our major thing right now we've been working with. And we did get an offer. Oh yeah, the barbecue groups. Yeah.
The barbecue groups in Colorado, or?
Yeah, in Colorado. But we just did here recently, an individual contacted us about working with the Jazz Fest and bringing food out. And so many people are evil and hate us, but out of that, it's so many other people that are spreading love and light, because that's what we're trying to spread. And so I think it's starting to overcome all that hate now.
That is so. That's right. Yeah. That's right. I so needed to hear that, you know, it affirms and confirms the work, you know, because it gets real funky. I don't know about y'all, but some days it gets real dark over here. So I'm so happy to hear that. And how can now people buy your meat? Are you shipping your meat or is it just local pickup?
Both. We're local and shipping. You can go to our website, www.freedomacres.com.
www.freedomacresranch.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right, brother. I understand. You've been working with the animals.
He was up all night looking for the bull.
For the
so we
bull.
give him that.
I totally do understand. And so what do you sell online?
Beef,
'Cause
pork, chicken, lamb, goat, eggs,
Turkey. Yeah.
turkey.
I mean, do you know how many people? I can tell you hundreds of people contacted us and saying we would like to buy meat from them now. So it is so for you to bounce back within a year, you know, or maybe not even, maybe the term is not bounce back, but continue on in the midst of all of the attacks and all of the ebbs and flows of this situation, and have an operation is huge. What does your volunteer staff look like? Or are you a company of two?
Oh no, we have plenty of volunteers.
Yeah, we got plenty of volunteers that come out to the ranch. We're always open to new ones coming in and seeing what it's like.
The college students have still been coming.
Yeah.
It's amazing that now people are doing actually trips to the ranch. And so there was a group of seniors that came out. And so it changes all the time. But I think like a lot of the seniors, there was a group of Black seniors and they came out, and a lot of them, it was just so reminiscent for them of like when they grew up in the South and their grandmother doing it. And so they just immersed themselves in what we were doing. And it's like constantly people will pray over us and tell us like, don't stop. And that's another piece that keeps us going. Those days when we're like, it's just too much, you know, like, is it worth it to be here fighting? And I say to myself, if we weren't here, how many people would potentially go hungry because the evil people wouldn't pick up their call, you know? And so for us, that's what keeps us going. The community has really rallied around us, and it's been white people that have as well. Like we'll go to the store, Walmart, to pick up some things, and people will just come up to us and say, God bless you, or whatever. Like, I know what's going on. I live out there. Like, these are people that live there. And they say, don't stop what you're doing. You're making a difference. And so I think those are the things that help keep us push, even on those hard days.
Yeah. And you know, my wife is always, you know, you know, I give her flowers, man. She pushes me to be better. And there are days where, you know, I get fed up, and you know, she's right there, like you would say, bounce back. But I don't think it would, we would call it bounce back. Like we never stop the momentum of pushing through it, you know, and I'm grateful. I'm thankful, and I appreciate everything everybody has done for us, and the prayers and stuff like that. It gives us strength to keep doing what we're doing, even when the haters are you know, spewing their hate. It just, you know, the light will outshine the darkness.
I know that's right. And so you talked about you are in talks with some elected officials, but has there ever been an official response or outreach from the governor?
No.
Or not to us
Not
at
to
all.
us.
Okay.
So,
Has there since then been any type of protocols or anything put in place that brings light or protection about what it's like to be Black and rural in Colorado?
Well, we still working on the Karen Act.
Okay.
I think it's more important now than ever, but we just actually were down at the Capitol, and they passed the Justice for Black Coloradans Act. And they're going to do a study on, I guess, the Black experience and try to get to the root of some of those things. And I hope that, I mean, we already know what's going on, but I hope that now putting it officially on paper by a third party will help bring about some real solutions and change.
Yeah.
But as far as we sit, I think it's still important to get the Karen Act passed. You know, there are brothers here that lost their lives, there are sisters that lost their lives simply because
Being Black.
a white person thought that a Black person shouldn't be doing something while Black. And so calling the police on someone for being on their land while Black or walking down the street while Black, people need to think twice about that and know there'll be serious repercussions behind that. And so now it doesn't even just need to be here, probably everywhere, but this is what we can do right now.
Yeah.
And for those people who don't know what the Karen Act is, can you explain it?
It is the Caution Against Racially Exploited Non-Emergencies, and it's been passed in California and a few other states. And what it will do is make it a hate crime for, you know, white people to weaponize the police on people of color, you know, for simply doing everyday activities. And I think it's important because if enacted and done properly, I think it'll really give a person a second thought as to whether or not 911 needs to be called because you see a brother changing a tire on a vehicle, you know, and 10 cops show up and potentially that brother gets beat up or loses his life.
Yeah, or shot.
Right.
Mm.
And so, you know, we had that happened here with Elijah McClain, right? Someone thought he shouldn't be walking down the street while Black, and they called the police and it didn't end well. And so at the end of the day, it's something that I think will save lives, and it's important here in this state.
Thank you for tuning into Ark Republic's news podcast. We are a small media organization with big news energy and cover topics from a global lens and work to uncover rich and robust stories. Any contribution towards our operation will fuel a much needed media revolution. So how can you do that? You can send money to our fundraising platform, which is ark-republic.fundjournalism.org/donate, or Cash App us at $Ark Republic Media. I hope you enjoy the rest of the program and stay tuned for Ark Republic News. Has there been more support from members of the food community? I know you said that there's a Black chef. I know that you've increased in food pantry, but in the food community overall, has there been kind of more conversations or more rally around like food justice and food equity and things like that? Or
Yeah.
I think so, yes.
Yes, there has.
There's actually a brother that contacted us, and he's interested in, like, because we were taking the bus down there, and he wanted to try to get a space where we could actually bring our meats and stuff, and he would have them there in like a little space, a store kind of front, so people could have access a little more frequently. So I think the great thing with everybody and just rallying around us as farmers, they've been able to like really understand the food part of it when we're out, when we're giving out food, when we're selling food. And everybody is trying to find solutions. Like, how can we get this, you know, where it's more accessible all the time, right? Because unfortunately, some of these grocery stores that boast more healthier options, they don't build in our zip codes. They build in the more affluent zip codes, although we still eat. They don't build in our communities. They build in the affluent zip codes. You know, our communities are more laden with, you know, high processed foods, you know, things that are cheap and that are easy to get, but they're not good for our bodies.
Mm.
And so that's been a big part of the conversation, the food justice and food access. And so that's been an amazing thing where now people are like, okay, I got a farmer, you know, I got a farm I know I can connect with. And so that's been the good thing about that, is all those different connections of everybody trying to work together to find real long-term solutions.
Mm. And what does food equity, if somebody were to say, here is these resources, capital, whatever it is that you need in order to implement what you see as an equitable food system in Colorado, what does that look like for you all?
Well, I think just like what we were saying, it looks like everyone having access to healthy food sources and options, no matter what your socioeconomic status or what your demographic, right? Because at the end of the day, one thing that is going to connect us all is food. We all eat every day. And so I think, unfortunately, the choices that we make are largely determined by what's accessible. And so getting like the gentleman, and we're trying to get that storefront done so we can supply that meat, that will be a part of the food justice. Like that's what it looks like, where they won't have to wait for us all of the time, but there's a way they can connect with it all day. You know what I mean? Right.
And you were talking about that there were aspiring farmers who wanted to farm more. What is that looking like? Are you, because one of the things I believe that you said is that, or what was told to me by Pam, with Montebello Walks, is this idea of leasing land or at least providing a space for people to learn how to farm. Is that what you're doing now?
It's something that we're working on. Yes.
Well, right, because a lot of people want to grow food and have chickens and do those things. But one thing that's just not accessible like that is the land. And so that's where that connection comes in with us, with advocates like Pam and other advocates that are community activists around food justice. They're like, how can we work together so we could get a cow over there so that we know we have some meat coming? Because that's another thing. Right now, all the prices are going up. So everybody wants to know how they can make that dollar stretch a little bit more. And that means being able to connect with the farmer to buy in bulk, right? To buy a quarter cow from us, or whom, obviously we want it to be from us, but whomever. So that now you can fill your freezer, and that's something that you don't have to worry about, that influx of, when you go in the store and it's now $15 a pound for ground beef or whatever. And not only the price you're paying, but where your food is coming from. They get to come, they get to see, they get to pick their meat up, and they understand exactly that it is from the farm to the table. And I think now that matters to people.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what can people do to contact you for to be involved in whatever way that they can?
Through email, the website, www.freedommakersranch.com, the email, freedommakersranch1@gmail.com. Mainly through the website. We've got it set up now to where we're monitoring and checking the messages and getting back with people as soon as possible, and trying to set something up with them coming out or placing an order or however it may be.
I mean, what we'd love to see though more than anything is, our Black people, we have events all the time that are centered around food, and we're doing it in white spaces. So we'd love for people to start utilizing like ranches and things like that. Have your retreat, like come and do your dinners or whatever that looks like for you. But know that this is an option too, where you can, do things on a ranch where you can be in the nature and watch the stars and do maybe something overnight. Some ladies are supposed to be doing a retreat, so we'll see how that goes. This will be our first retreat.
And we got another group coming out with telescopes to do stargazing.
Oh, wow. These are things that are bringing ideas to farmers who are listening too, because we talk about there are so many ways that you can make money off of your land that is not just food production. It could be, the center could be food production, but what are other streams of revenue that you can get? So I'm learning. I am learning. We got stargazing, bird watching, hog feeding, goat petting. We got a whole
goat yoga.
goat yoga. Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. No, this is so important. Now this is a couple of people have asked. Let me tell you, there were about 4 people in the whole Freedom Acres Ranch stories that they were mentioning, right? One of which was Deion Sanders. Has Deion contacted y'all?
We can't confirm or deny.
Okay. All right. I just want to know. Okay. Because I mean, I didn't even know. I mean, I was so far away from sports, but I asked my husband, I said, why are they keep, mentioning or tagging Deion Sanders? He said, oh, because he did and so I didn't know he had already. Yeah. I was like, ooh, okay. All right. Okay. Now I get it. So, all right. So that is good. Now, I always leave the last say for the guest. What is something that you want to add to this conversation that you might want to leave with the people who are listening, or something that I didn't cover? You have the last word.
I'd like to say thank you again to everybody who supported us, backed us in this. Thank you to you. Don't let them wash out your dream, man. Just keep pushing. That would be my message to a farmer coming behind me, or someone out there that may be going through it. You're not alone. Reach out, yeah, scream it from the mountaintops, yeah, that's about pretty much it. Yeah, don't be afraid to say anything. Don't think that you're crazy for, like they tried to make us believe that we were crazy for some of the things that we were saying that were being done to us. Just don't give up. Don't give up.
Well, I thank you so very much for joining us on this very special interview. We are speaking to Courtney and Nicole Mallery of Freedom Acres Ranch. And this will probably be the 8th or 9th story we have around you. So we have been following you as much as we possibly can. I would say, as a journalist, this is probably one of the most extensive coverages I've had in my whole journalism career. And it has been such a learning lesson, and it has been such an honor, to do so. And I thank you so much for reaching out back to me, because y'all can get rich, Black, and famous and, not know a sister anymore. So
Never.
I appreciate that. This is Kaya Shivers with Ark Republic. Thank you so much.
Let's embark on the Ark Republic to hear current news that's published. More than gossip and chatter, covering current affairs that matter. We talk issues with professional views, all keeping you in queue. We wanted a higher vibe for these days and times, to free the voices and minds, reporting the sign of the times, so all can build. Let's shine, yeah.